Hello, teachers. Hello, a very warm welcome to everyone. It is an honor to be with you today for another TT Live session. A very warm welcome. Please use the comments to ask any questions you may have during the live session. Welcome again. Today we are starting another live session. As you might know, TT hosts this live session every single week, so we actually have many different topics to constantly discuss every time we meet, and we are always bringing new things that you request, so feel free to write in the comments if there is something new you would like us to explore, or if you have any ideas for a class, material, or plan that you would like to create with Pity. And also using the comments, feel free to post any questions you might have, and we will be more than happy to provide answers to them. Well, welcome everyone to today's live session. As you know, every week we have our live sessions, which are very short trainings, free trainings. These are made available specifically for you here on our YouTube channel. So if you came from Instagram or Facebook, a very warm welcome. Click down below to subscribe to our channel to become a follower and to receive all our videos firsthand. And the main subject and focus of today's live session is basically gamified assessments with AI in just a matter of a few minutes. So how do you imagine we can create assessments that are highly interactive, enjoyable, and truly engaging, that really engage our students effectively without distracting or demotivating them? You can write here in the comments, teacher, if at any point you've already created a gamified assessment, if you design and create this specific type of assessment, or if you still do traditional assessments the way we know them, which is basically standard written or multiple choice questions printed out on physical sheets of paper. Or if you also use different types of assessments, let us know in the comments. Well, today we're going to talk about gamified variations with artificial intelligence in just minutes. And I'll be using Teach. I'll put the link right down here so you can join as well. It's teach.ai. Guys, I'm going to use this tool here. Actually, it's much more than just a tool. It's a comprehensive, large-scale workspace specifically designed for teachers. It was made with advanced AI technology, but it's also been carefully reviewed by professional educators and was originally created by educators themselves to ensure it truly meets our needs. And all the educational resources and materials inside are completely pedagogical and specifically customized and tailored to your school's curriculum, your district's curriculum, or even your country's curriculum. And guys, if you really want to join me, I'm going to log in and access this specific website right here, which is called teach.ai. And when you enter the site, you'll see a screen very similar to the one I'm about to show you. So just a moment and you'll be seeing this screen. First, you'll go to the official TIT website, provide your email address, and either create a new account or sign into your profile if you already have one. And this is the exact screen you'll see first. And guys, I see that a lot of people are always asking me about this process. Is this artificial intelligence software tool available for free? If not, how exactly can I start using it? If it's not free, listen guys, this incredible tool is completely free to use, but for those dedicated teachers who really need to use it with many different classes and a lot of students, I'm going to leave a special discount coupon at the very end of this live stream, okay? So stay until the end because I'll give you a discount coupon. Why am I saying it's good for teachers who have many classes? Because guys, you really need to make sure that you claim your free credits every single day. And how exactly does the process of claiming these credits work? If you take a quick look at my screen right here, up on the top right corner, you will see a little yellow button featuring a lightning bolt symbol along with a plus 100 sign. So plus the number 100. By clicking there, you'll see that I'll receive 100 credits. And guys, everyone gets 100 credits every day when they log into TIT. So it's very important to always log into TIT to claim your credits. Why? Each individual tool will typically use about 100 to 200 credits per run. So it's really important for you to log in every day and claim your credits and save them for when you want to use them or use them on the same day. So here I got my 100 credits. I'll get a surprise on Saturday, 200 credits. So I'll come here every day to claim my credits. And as you can see here, I have a lot of credits because I've saved them. I've been logging in for several days. Now, profis, why is it so essential for you to understand that all of these TIC tools are completely free of charge? It is because you can easily collect these credits and then use them to utilize the tools at any time. Each of these tools will cost you anywhere between 100 and 200 credits. But there are various other ways for you to earn credits, like sending a link to a friend or sharing your materials. You can potentially accumulate up to 400 credits by doing this each and every time you do it. And let's say you have a significant number of students, many classes, many subjects, and you need to generate and develop a lot of materials at once, or daily or weekly. You need to really take full advantage of the TIT tools. So listen up, guys. I want to tell you about the TIT Premium Plan. And the TIT Premium Plan is basically absolutely unlimited TIT. Why? You have access to the same tools you get with the free plan without paying anything, but you can do whatever you want for as long as you want. In other words, it's unlimited. It's basically unlimited credits. So if you need it and if you want a discount, stay until the end of this live because I'm going to announce it for you. A really great discount coupon for you who are just getting started with us today, this Wednesday, and want to finish the week on a high note. Want to have an incredible AI tool that will truly help you save more than 20 hours a week. Today is definitely your day because today we have a special discount coupon just for you. And guys, so I'm going to take a look at the comments now. If you have any questions, I'm going to drink some water. So guys, if you went over to teach.ai, which is the website I'm putting down here, this is the exact screen you're going to see, okay? And the primary subject we are going to discuss today then is the creation of assessment activities, detailed evaluations, and gamified tests using artificial intelligence, all of which can be completed in just a few short minutes. In minutes. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. You'll see just a few minutes will go by and everything will be ready, I promise you. So teachers, why is it so essential to have gamified assessment activities in our classrooms? Well, the reason is that when we create assessments that are really eye-catching and fun, our students tend to participate much more actively in the lessons. So it's not enough for the class itself to be very engaging and attention-grabbing. The assessments also need to follow the same pace. That way, students will stay connected throughout their learning journey. Students will learn the concepts in a more fun and interactive way, and with an assessment that is gamified, with an assessment that is truly engaging, they will naturally invest more effort, be more engaged, and actively participate more in the class as a whole. Furthermore, by creating these engaging gamified assessments, you could say it becomes a very natural diagnostic tool. Without any of the intense pressure of a traditional assessment, and certainly without the typical pressure of a formal test, specifically, your students will be naturally and effectively assessed in real time. It is a diagnostic process that feels completely natural. Because there simply isn't that overwhelming pressure of a high-stakes test. There is no longer any need to spend hours and hours hunched over notebooks trying to learn, or rather trying to memorize everything just for the upcoming test. Furthermore, nowadays, there are many students who have a lot of resistance to tests, exams, and various assessments. It's a resistance that even becomes a fear. So if we develop and implement these gamified assessment activities, this resistance will be significantly reduced, and student engagement will be greatly increased. And it is actually a much better, more effective, and far more fun way for us as teachers to assess our students, not just for our own records, but also in a general sense to evaluate them in a way that we know is completely natural, genuine, and authentic, so that we can, in fact, create very useful diagnostics based on that information. So, teacher, shall we get back to TEAT? Well, right here in front of you, you can see the TIT home screen, which is where we will be working today. It is this AR tool that is completely free of charge, highly educational, and was made by teachers for teachers. To get things started today, when we think about engaging assessments, one of the very first things I want to demonstrate to you right now is that you can create them not just in minutes, but in seconds. I am specifically talking about using flashcards, okay? And it is not just about basic flashcards, which are those cards where on one side you have a specific question or a concept, and on the other side you have the answer or an explanation of that concept. But actually we can use them in a variety of formats. For instance, we can use flashcards as an engaging memory game, or we can use flashcards in a more competitive pass or play style game with others. So as you saw here, I already clicked on flashcards, which was one of the first tools that appeared for me. But if it's not showing up for you there On the home page, just click on More 60 Tools. And then take a look down here and you'll find it. Flashcards, okay? If you are following along with me right now, just go ahead and click on the flashcards button and you will find it right there, okay? Now, teachers, and here is exactly where the truly didactic part of the lesson finally begins. Flashcards. Let's take a look. First, you can easily choose the grade level, then the specific topics, and the total number of flashcards, okay? So right here, I'm actually going to enter a particular topic chosen by the tool, MyK. As you can see, Egyptian vocabulary comes up on the screen. The number of flashcards can also be selected, so you can choose to apply this, let's say, for the entire class, even. Does that make sense? And in this sense, we will have two different modules, which are the memory game or pass or play. I'm going to explain to you exactly how it works. These two modes, but here let's start with the basics, which are the flashcards. All right then, which is the activity itself. So here we already have the different ways to engage and play, which is precisely what we are talking about. I'll put here 15 flashcards, ways to play. In other words, let us just imagine for a moment that my hand here is a flashcard. Okay, let me show you. My hand here is a flashcard. If I choose the mode, question and answer, on one side I'll have the question and on the other side I'll have the answer, right? Everyone understands, right? It's a regular flashcard. Now, if I choose true or false, it will be the same way. On one hand, it's going to be a question, and I'll have to say whether it's true or false. And then on the other side, it will be, it's true, it's false. Continuing then the other way is yes or no, which follows the same logic as true or false, right? On one side, you'll have the question or the concept. On the other side, you'll have yes or no. Go ahead and create the answer. It is a really enjoyable and engaging method because on one side we have the question and on the other side we have this helpful support structure so that the student can create the answer. In other words, let's say you want to create a test, an oral assessment. This is a great and excellent alternative. Furthermore, we also have the additional possibility of who am I? So look here, who am I? Who am I? It is a really cool and highly effective option if you want to design and implement, for example, a history assessment in this sense, where you ask about important historical figures throughout various eras. So you would have Joan of Arc on one side, which would be the correct answer. And then here on the front, I would say, I was a famous historical figure in the war. We say, and on the other side of the card, it would be Joan of Arc again. In other words, what we have here are several different modules, not just two simple ones, but various ways to use it for your study. These are flashcards, okay? So in this sense, I'm going to create one here with you. I'm going to create it in the mode, I create an answer. And did you see that I clicked the yellow button? It actually ended up taking 100 credits straight out of my pocket, just like I mentioned to you before. And every single tool is going to be, most of them here, 100 credits. A few are more than 100 credits, 200 credits at most. So if you log in every day, you'll be able to get your credits to create whatever you want. So here we already have the flashcard, question and answer, question and answer. As I told you before, question and answer. On the right side then, we have each of the individual cards along with their specific questions and their corresponding answers. And if you are looking to engage in a truly immersive and interactive activity, you can come right over here, click the play button to start, okay? Going back, I made my class card. I can edit the content or click play. By clicking play, I can actually play with my students. So let's say it's a group assessment, an evaluation where all my students can listen to their classmates, really an oral assessment. So I put it on the board, I project it on the board, I project it on the wall, I ask the question, and then I can say whether the student got it right or not. And then like this, Titi will be responsible for keeping track of the correct and incorrect answers. And at the very end, she'll say, you got exactly this many right and exactly this many wrong. It's a great way to really create effective assessments for your students. If you really stop to think about it for a moment, assessments come in many forms. For instance, when looking at groups, we have assessments with more than one person, individual assessments with just one student, and even assessments where other students can participate or perhaps just listen to the process. So it's not just about performing in front of other students, but also about these different dynamics. And so right here, we can see how we have arrived at our final percentage. You can play again, you can type, you can exit, okay? And if you want to send it to your students within Teach, you can do that too, all right? You simply just need to open up your class, then add all of your students, and finally send it over to them digitally. That was the first way, everyone. Now, how exactly could I go about doing an assessment then? Well, I really wanted something that could be easily printed out, where students can actually sit down and write. Guys, how can you possibly gamify a classroom assessment better than with a fun crossword puzzle? That is exactly right. A classic crossword. Have you ever thought about using crossword puzzles to create assessments for your students? Leave it in the comments. So my fellow teachers, this is truly an excellent and effective way to really create a highly engaging test for your students. And in that sense, let's go ahead and make a specific choice here. For these 15 words, let's pick a very interesting topic. I see a lot of dedicated English teachers here, a lot of hardworking math teachers, and also a lot of wonderful geography teachers in the room today. So I'm going to choose a topic like, who knows, maybe biology. For example, we could look at birds and all the various different bird species that exist in the world. All set. Here you can fill it in or wait. Or ask the AI to generate it for you by clicking the yellow button. And with just 100 credits, this incredible automated tool of mine, which I created, made this for me. Wow, here it is, folks. And below we have the clues. Okay? You can also view the answers or hide them. Okay? Looking at it from this perspective, teacher, how exactly can we effectively utilize crosswords as a tool? So, for assessment. Very simple. Here we're going to use our creativity, all right? First, if you want to do a collaborative group assessment for your class, if you want to give a group test or a test with all the students participating together, at the same time that they can help each other or learn from one another, first you will take your projector with the crossword puzzle open. With this crossword open, and display the image clearly onto the classroom wall or the whiteboard. After projecting it, you will call each individual student one by one to come forward to answer, okay? So, imagine your student answering on a giant crossword puzzle, discussing the various concepts or the specific questions you have prepared. You will read through the specific question, right, that's here on the side, for example, this question, and the student will have to go there and provide their written answer in number 2, which is here. It is all very simple, right, teacher? And a lot of fun. Now, let's say I don't want my students to help each other. It has to be an individual test. You will print out this crossword puzzle and hand it out to each student. And what about the gamification part? Essentially, it is just a crossword puzzle. The gamification part is this. You are actually going to play a game of bingo. That's right, bingo, where you will read one specific clue at a time with the students. That's right, teacher. You will find all of your important clues inside your notebook, which are located right here, and you will read through them one at a time. And each individual student will fill it out at their own comfortable pace, and each student will fill it out on their own separate sheet. And you can easily turn this activity into something that is much more fun. For example, the person who gets the answer right first has to shout out the word bingo and will then get an extra point for their effort. The person who comes in dead last is going to have to, for example, explain to us a concept about the test. So you can actually make it even more fun, okay? Teachers, so to wrap up, we can explore this topic in a bit more depth. What do you think? Something a bit more advanced and technologically sophisticated, something that really fits with the year 2026 that we're in. So here we had 2 distinct and interesting alternatives for us to consider, okay? The first then is an incredibly popular and widely recognized alternative, which is flashcards, but with different methodologies and game modes. And the second was the crossword puzzle, also with 2 methodologies. The first part of the session involves group work, which functions as a collaborative group test, featuring a giant crossword puzzle. And the second activity consists of the individual crossword puzzle, presented in a bingo format. Wait a second. Now, teachers, let's move on to a slightly more advanced level, okay? By clicking on more than 60 tools, and here in this left area, which has a mini menu, you will click on Teach with AI, okay? Additionally, we also have this option, which is known as the Review Tutor system. The Review Tutor is basically an interactive chatbot that is designed to ask various questions, allowing the student to engage in a conversation with it, and through this process, you will be learning and absorbing information as you go by asking questions. So it's not like an AI that's made in a generic way where the student just goes there and asks a question and it gives the answer. No, here the student approaches and interacts with the AI and they'll receive helpful suggestions. They'll gain valuable insights, but they will never be given the direct answer. But how exactly can we use this for a test? Guys, not just for a test, but this powerful tool can actually serve as a continuous evaluator for your classroom, okay? Students can easily access this tool every single week, for example, and absolutely everything will be securely saved there for you to check later on. That's exactly right, teachers, that is right. You can personally check what the student is doing, what specific questions they're asking, and exactly how they are learning with this tool over time. Just create a class inside Pit and send this tool to your students. But here, let's do an example, okay? Let's put an example of a title here. So we already have algebra here. I found it very difficult, guys. I wouldn't know how to ask a question. Let's choose a simpler topic. We have a lot of really cool topics here, everyone. Let's put here. We are now conducting a very thorough and comprehensive assessment of the entire situation. From an English class. In this area, we'll add the specific lessons or complex concepts that need to be reviewed. And then, by clicking on this bright yellow button, we will automatically generate our very own tutor. So, as you can see, here is our tutor. By simply clicking on this specific button, we can preview the entire interface as a student. And here you can ask any questions that you might have. So the student can come here and submit their specific questions for review. You, as the teacher, will have access. The student will be learning at the same time they are being assessed. I'm going to put it here. Create a question for me about the topic. So here, I already have the questions, an A, B, C, D. So here I'm going to put in an answer, any answer. And the tutor is not going to just sit there and say, oh, that's wrong, and I'll simply give the correct answer to you. Instead, the system steps in and says, no, not quite right. That's not really correct. Actually, think carefully, something like this, something like that. I'll give you a little hint. Do you want to try again? And then the student can go there and try. They can try again. And you will have access to all these chats. In other words, it's a truly great support for continuous assessment in the classroom. So teachers, today we have explored 3 different and effective ways to create your assessments in a fun, gamified way. And as I promised you earlier, here is our special discount coupon for today. So if you want to have full access to this incredible tool, to these 3 specific tools and more than 60 other educational tools with a 10% discount, just use this specific code right here. And use TT in the best way possible. Teachers, that's all for today's session. I will see you all again next week. Have a great day. Use the coupon for 10% off here at TIT. And I hope you all have a truly wonderful week ahead. Next week, we'll be back here again, okay? With a live interactive broadcast where we will talk about a completely new and different topic. And if you have any kind of questions or requests for us, just go ahead and put them in the chat. Use the coupon YouTube 10. And I'll see you next week. Have a great week, everyone. See you later, teachers. Bye-bye.